Hi there, it's Sue, and thanks for joining me for Tips and Talk Day. These are bite-sized topics that I pull from community questions and things that I'm observing in the world of handmade small business. If you'd like to submit a topic, DM me over on Instagram at Gift Biz Unwrapped. Before we get started, I'm going to share a secret with you. One of my superpowers is the ability to get an enormous number of tasks and projects done each and every week. I easily meet deadlines, rarely forget to do something, and know at the start of each day what needs priority attention and action. Type A personality? Yes. And a follow-through on the Kobe assessment, which should have given me the clue. But it wasn't until people started commenting to me that I realized not everyone naturally knows how to do this. It's the biggest single contributor to the growth I always see in my businesses, without spending hours and hours working either. It's about focus and doing the right things efficiently. Prompted by all the questions on how I do this, I went about finding a way to help you perform at a higher level too. I analyzed my methods and formalized my process, which is one many of my coaching clients now also follow. You can use it too. It's all part of a tool called the Inspired Daily Planner, made specifically for gifters, bakers, crafters, and makers. Make no mistake, this is not your ordinary planner. First off, it comes with a video explaining my productivity strategy. And the physical planner isn't dated, so you can start using it the second it arrives at your doorstep. And that's not all. Included for each day is a motivational or business building tip, and plenty of space to capture and book in time for to-dos, scheduled appointments, and all those ideas that are now getting lost. You can watch the video for free and then get your Inspired Daily Planner at giftbizunwrapped.com/inspired. It's story time. I want to introduce you to a friend of mine who I met through my local Chamber of Commerce. We've known each other for years now and have shared many personal and business stories throughout this time. To me, it's always so fascinating how interesting people's pasts can be. But these stories only come out when you get to a certain level of friendship and are in the right environment. At one of our Chamber after-hour events, wine in hand, one conversation led to another with my friend Alan and his late wife Jeannie. We got into reminiscing about surprising stories from our past. All three of us were trying to one-up each other by sharing things you'd never expect based on who we are today. It was such a fun conversation and full of amazing revelations. I talked about being known as the Sunday night prankster in college, my venture into cow tipping, and being an NFL cheerleader. You can hear all about this last one back in Tips and Talk episode 78 if you're curious. But Alan, hands down, had the best story of the night. He shared how, when he was younger, he was a full-on hippie and played in a rock band. He even pulled out his phone and showed me a picture as confirmation. Oh my gosh, my friend Alan, this buttoned-down, highly professional guy, transformed from what I saw in this photo. Unbelievable and worth more than a few laughs and teasing, of course. Anyway, the best part of this story is yet to come. Obviously, I want to know more about the band and what happened to him from there. And this is the really crazy part. We talked about his life in the band. I've forgotten now what it was called at that time. But as you can imagine, there were dynamics with the band members, investing a lot of time without making much money, and he was losing interest and questioning whether he wanted to continue down this path. The breaking point was when the lead band member told them about the next song that they were going to add to their playlist. It was called, "Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is?" Yes, this song. Does anybody really know what time it is? Alan was like, "This is the stupidest sounding title I ever heard. And that was the last straw for him. He left the group. Now, for those of you where this doesn't ring a bell, the song, Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is?, was the song that put the band Chicago in the spotlight and on the map of stardom. Record deals, tours, the whole works. But not including Alan. He had already left the band and went on to have a very successful law career. So I asked, do you ever reflect back on what could have been if you didn't leave the band? Honestly, I've forgotten now what his answer was to that question, but I do remember his follow-up. He said, if I had stayed in that band, I may not have ever married Jeannie, the love of my life, or had a family, or a stable life here in the suburbs, or built my legal career. I have no regrets. And I know this to be true. To know Alan is to see his passion for the life he leads and all the good and joy he extends to those around him. Now, why did I take this whole podcast episode to tell you this story? Because there are some valuable lessons to take away. First, if you're questioning your current situation because it's not fulfilling anymore, it's okay and you should make a change. Maybe it's making adjustments or completely switching it up. Making a decision is always better than indecision, even if your decision is to revisit the issue in a few months. Second, once a decision is made and action taken, keep your eyes moving forward. Looking back is great for learning and being wiser as you continue on, but looking back and wishing things could have been different is defeatist. We can't change the past. Focusing unproductive energy on what could have been isn't helpful, and as I see it, is a waste of time when you could be creating an even more beautiful future. And finally, live without regrets, just like Alan says. If we're lucky, we get many days on this earth. Of course, we're going to make choices during this time that hindsight were mistakes or a different choice might have led to a really great outcome. Don't you wish you had the wisdom you have today when you were in your early 20s? I know I do, but that's not how life works. And now, when it comes to business, I've observed in myself and others that it has a way of taking over our lives. We all need to remember that our business doesn't define who we are and is only one part of our life. We tend to stay in unfulfilling spaces too long. We often fear the risk of change. Sometimes the known is more comfortable, even if it's not making us happy, because change is too scary. As a new year approaches, and it naturally feels like a time for analysis and adjustment, I urge you to reflect on where you are and be bold in moving forward in a new way. You already intuitively know if there's an area of your life that calls for improvement. No regrets and no more waiting. It's time to make the change. That's a wrap. I'm a get-to-the-point kind of girl, and this is what you can expect from these quick midweek sessions. Now it's your turn. Go out and fulfill that dream of yours. Share your handmade products with us. We want them, and they bring us both so much happiness.